All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something we all do, shopping. We're going to decode the secret language of your shopping cart, figure out why we buy the things we do, and, well, how marketers are having a conversation with our brains that we might not even be aware of.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You get home, you're unpacking your stuff, and you look at this one thing and just think, why? Why did I buy that? That little pang of buyer's remorse? What's really happening in our brains in that moment of decision? That's the exact mystery we're going to unravel today.
So to get to the bottom of this, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the fundamental reasons we buy things. Then, we'll meet the two competing minds inside every single one of us. After that, we'll get into the subtle art of the nudge, peek inside the buying brain with some cool science, and finally, see how it all comes together in the world of modern marketing.
Okay, first stop. Why do we actually buy things? This is all about digging into the hidden forces, the invisible strings that guide our choices every single day. We all love to think of ourselves as super logical shoppers, don't we? We make spreadsheets, we compare features, we weigh the pros and cons. But if that was the whole story, marketing would be pretty boring. The truth is, our brains are a fascinating, kind of messy mix of pure logic and a whole lot of other stuff bubbling just under the surface.
So, what is all this other stuff? Well, that question leads us straight to a field that completely changed how we understand human behavior: behavioral economics. This is the science that gives us a map for all our seemingly random choices.
You can think of it like this. It's where psychology and economics had a baby. Instead of just assuming we're all perfectly rational robots, it looks at how real people, with all our emotions, our biases, and our mental shortcuts, actually make decisions about money.
And this is where it gets really interesting. See, traditional economics is all about what we should do in a perfect world. But behavioral economics just goes, yeah, that's cute, but let's look at what people actually do. It recognizes that we're emotional, we're flawed, but here's the kicker, we're predictably flawed. Our irrationality follows patterns, and if you can predict it, you can understand it.
And once you see it everywhere. You know why $9.99 feels like a total bargain compared to $10? It's because our brain gets stuck on that 9. Or how about the fact that the minute you own something, it suddenly feels way more valuable? And that awful sting of losing 20 bucks. It hurts way more than the joy you get from finding 20 bucks. These aren't bugs in our system, they're just features of how we're wired.
Okay, so if behavioral economics gives us the why, our next step is to look at the how. How is this science put into practice? Well, that brings us to the idea of nudging.
The most important word here is gently. A nudge is not a shove. It's not a rule. No one is taking away your choices. It's all about how those choices are presented to you. The choice architecture, to make one option feel a little easier, a little more obvious, without forcing your hand at all.
And you've seen this a million times. The candy bars aren't banned from the cafeteria, they're just put on the bottom shelf while the apples are right at eye level. You can still print a single-sided document, you just have to actively uncheck the double-sided default. And that little section on Amazon, it's not forcing you to add more to your cart, it's just using social proof to nudge you, whispering, hey, everyone else is buying this too. It's subtle stuff, but man, is it effective.
So, we have the theory and we have the tool. But how do marketers know for sure that their nudges are working? Well, they get proof by literally looking inside your brain. And this is where it gets a little sci-fi. This is neuromarketing.
I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but it is 100% real. Companies are using medical tech, like brain scanners, to see which parts of your brain light up when you see a logo, or watch an ad, or see a price. It's like having a direct line to your subconscious gut reactions.
And that, right there, is its superpower. Think about it. If you ask someone in a survey, did you like this commercial? They might say yes just to be nice, or they might overthink it. But a brain scan doesn't care about being polite. It shows the raw, unfiltered emotional truth, the flicker of excitement, the wave of confusion, before our conscious brain even has time to come up with an answer.
All right, it's time for our final section. Let's put all these pieces together. We're going to see how this powerful persuasion toolkit is actually used out there in the real world to influence what we do.
So you can really think of it as a simple formula. Behavioral economics gives marketers the insight, like, hey, people have a major fear of missing out. Nudging gives them the action, like a big countdown timer on a limited time offer. And neuromarketing gives them the proof, showing that, yep, that timer really does trigger the urgency centers in the brain. Put it all together, and you've got a seriously powerful marketing strategy.
So here's the basic playbook. Step 1, the company figures out what they want you to do. Buy a product, sign up for something, whatever. Step 2, they tap into behavioral economics to find a bias that can help them, like our tendency to stick with the default option. Step 3, they design the nudge. Maybe it's pre-checking the sign me up box. And finally, step 4, they launch it and measure everything to see how well it worked.
This quote from the material we're looking at really nails it. And that word inform, it's really specific. It's not force, it's not trick, it's inform or shape. It's all about creating a path of least resistance that gently guides us toward the choice they want us to make.
So, I guess we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know the playbook, now that you can see the behind-the-scenes mechanics, does that make you a smarter consumer? Are you immune to it? Or does knowing the science behind your own mind just prove how predictably human we all really are? Something to think about the next time you're at the checkout. Thanks for tuning in.